Good day. For today's video, we will be discussing Introduction to History. Let's first discuss the objectives. Number 1, demonstrate understanding of the meaning of history as an academic discipline. Number 2, examine and evaluate critically the value of historical evidence and sources. Number 3, appreciate the importance of history in the social and national life of the Philippines. Now I have here a Visayan version of the Bahay Kubo. Can anyone sing it for the class? Alright, let's sing together. It is created by Denny Somoso. Payag sa uma, bisan ug gamay, ang mga pananom. Dito nagsagol-sagol lang, jikuma ug talong, karabansos ug mani, balatong preholes ug limensis, kondol, sikwa, balansyong ug kalabasa, uy aduna pay radish, ug rugusi, sibuyas, kamatis, ahos, lungga, uy luya, nagpalibot ang sigbin, manok, baboy, kanding, kabayo, kabaw ug baka. Now, how was your experience after the activity? After listening to the music, how was your experience? What word was formed after the activity? Now, there is a specific word that will summarize the song. And what word is that? And that is the word of simplicity. Yes, correct. The song Bahay Kubo uh, projects the way the lives of the Filipinos were spent in the past. It tells something about their simplicity. That's why this song was created, probably by farmers, by simple Filipinos. Now, I made a little twist so that you will not be bored because this subject is really boring. Okay, I made a little twist in the sense that uh, I ask you or I sing the song in the Visayan language. Alright, moving on. Now, what I'm trying to say here is that the simplicity of the Filipinos are there since time immemorial. So, simplicity is the way of life of Filipinos until now. Now, the next question, what is the relationship of the word simplicity to our discussion? It tells us about history, correct? Now, what is history? Before we go there, I'd like you to answer this on a scratch paper. Alright? Now, try to define history based on how it was taught to you by your previous teacher. Put it on the known part. Put your answer on the no part. And for the want, what do you want to learn from history in this subject? And the third, what have you learned or what will you learn after our discussion for today? Only on a scratch paper. Don't pressure yourself because it will not be submitted. I just want to measure how much you know about the world history. Alright, so now we'll move on to an activity. But instead of grouping you into 8 groups, we will just do this, or you will just do this individually. So I like you to analyze the pictures and give your conclusion to each picture. Okay, let's start. Picture number one, picture number two, picture number three, picture number four, picture number five, picture number six, picture number seven, and picture number eight. Now, as you browse the pictures and as you have given all your observation to all the pictures, now all these pictures represents what? It all represents a puzzle. Now, if we relate it to our discussion, our topic is all about history. Now, based on the activity, how do you define history? Yes, history is a series of events. It is actually a puzzle that tells two sides of the story. One who is telling that this is the truth, and one who is telling that this is the actual truth. Now, on the definition, on that particular definition, where are you as a student? That's the big question. You are placed at the center because not all historical facts are true. There are facts that are true for those who define and who have narrated history. So see, sometimes the truth is being hidden depending on the one who is telling history. Example, who is our national hero? Yes, probably your teacher in high school or in grade 4 or grade 5 have told you or have taught you that it is actually Jose Rizal who is our national hero. But do you know, as of now, we have no national hero declared yet by our Philippine Congress since time immemorial. Yeah. See? Now, how did you know that Rizal was our national hero? Correct? Probably because our teacher or your teachers have taught you based on what they read in history books. See? Now, that is history. Now, your role as a student is to identify and to become critical in absorbing facts. All right? So I hope you have learned something. Now, let's move on to the etymology of the word history. It is derived from the Greek word historia, which means learning by inquiry. So, precisely the same definition that I have given a while ago. History is not all about facts, it is you, the one absorbing a historical fact, to you are actually the center of uh, you are actually the center of this discussion. It's up to you to absorb what historical fact you will believe in. So, meaning you need to use your curiosity, you need to use your critical thinking, and your sense of inquiry. How? You have to ask questions. when you're doing an inquiry, you usually start it by asking questions. Am I right? History is the sum of total of what happened in the past, event, action, and every thought that a human being has done. This is actually a generic definition of history. It is the act of analyzing and writing about the past. So go move. Let's discuss number two. History is the sum of sum total of what happened in the past. All historical facts that were written by the one who have witnessed that particular incident is actually history. It number three. It is the act of analyzing and writing about the past. You write history. Either you like it, you like history to be negative, or you like history or that particular history to be positive. It depends on how the writer of history like or like history to be told to readers. Now, what are the theories of history? We have number one, factual history. It presents reader with the plain and basic information vis-a-vis the events that took place. What, the time and the date with which the events happened. When, the place with which the event took place. And the people involved. So, technically speaking, when we talk about factual history, we need to answer the three W's: the what, the when, and the who, for us to lay down the foundation of historical facts. The second one, you have speculative history. It goes beyond facts because it is concerned about the reason for which events happen, why, and the way how it happens. It tries to speculate on the cause and effect of an event, meaning this is the history of chismis, meaning the person who's telling this historical fact may not have witnessed that particular incident, but based on his judgment and based on how he heard it, he heard it from his friends. Then that's the time that he creates his own interpretation of a historical fact. So technically, in a layman's language, we can say that in the Filipino language, particularly, it's chismis. You see? Now going back to what I have said a while ago, history may either be true or wrong or not. So next we have, what is historical method? A historical method is the process of critically examining and analyzing the records and survivals of the past. So if you really love history, you have to dig into the records, and that is historical method. Now, what is historiography? These are some of the terms that you will meet along the way with regards to this subject. Number four, what is historiography? Historiography is the imaginative reconstruction of the past from the data given. Likewise, it is similar to what I mentioned a while ago. It's all about speculative history. Alright, so we move on to the fifth question. What are the aims of history? The first aim of history is to know the truth. My former boss told me about a very popular quote. There are three kinds of truth, according to her: your truth, her truth, and the truth. Now, what is the truth? That is the aim, basic aim of history. Authenticity, meaning how genuine a historical fact is. And plausibility, how reasonable and probable that particular historical event is. All of these all of these is an equivalent to verisimilitude. We call it verisimilitude. Alright? It is the aim of history. Now, what is historical analysis? Answer: historical analysis is a method of examination of evidences in coming to understanding of the past. Now, what are the process that historians do in conducting historical analysis? You see, historians are like scientists. They also follow certain code of conduct before they conduct historical analysis. Same with scientists that they have this scientific method. Letter A, select the subject to investigate. They usually select what fascinates their interest. Letter B, collect probable sources of information of the subject. Letter C, examine their sources' genuineness. Letter D, extract credible particular source or part of sources. Alright, now I like you to reflect on this Hugot line, a very famous Hugot line. This will give us a general idea and it will sum up our lesson. Let me read the Hugot line for you. Iba ang sinaktan sa nasaktan. Iba ang pinaasa sa umasa. Pero parehong mahirap harapin. Di ba? Now, how do you understand this Hugot line? Yes, past is fast, correct? But your past have taught you a lesson. The thing is, we must learn, if we apply it to ourselves, we must learn how to move on. Because without moving on, we will not be able to. We will not be able to achieve or reach our goal. So we have to move on, though it is history already. We are not forgetting anything, but we must learn to move on. And usually we can do that through acceptance. We need to accept those things that are already laid on the table. Class dismissed.